I have 3 pitchers, 3 hitters, and 2 prospects that you need to dominate your leagues this month. Let's talk about them right now. What up and welcome to the Rival Fantasy Show. I am your host, Neil Maligno. If you are new, we don't mess with the fluff around here. We get right to the players that you need to add on waivers in free agency to win your league, whether it's this week, next week, or for the rest of the season. We'll start with the pitchers. We're starting with Jose Soriano. Soriano did miss a few weeks with an abdominal infection. His underlying stats before the injury showed him performing on par with the elite pitchers in the game. He's got a great pitch mix, and his starting pitcher relief pitching eligibility in a lot of leagues make him well worth rostering. Now, our second pitcher is Albert Suarez. He's a great guy for the Orioles in real life and a surprisingly good fantasy streamer. He had a bad go against a surging Astros team last time out, but otherwise is sporting some pristine numbers. Even with the bump in the road, he's sitting at a 2.43 ERA and a 1.25 whip, which is not bad for a streamer with this offense. The last pitcher we're going to talk about is Robbie Ray. Now, he's been moved up to AAA for the final leg of his rehab stint. While this puts a July target on Ray's return, I know he's a polarizing fantasy pitcher, but if he returns to any semblance of his pre-injury form, he could be a great asset down the stretch. Let's go ahead and jump straight into the hitters. Now, this one feels good for me personally. I'm a Mets fan, and I am recommending you a Met. That doesn't happen often, so I really got to gloat in it. But Harrison Bader, we got to stop disrespecting this man. Bader has been a great contributor for the Mets, and his success has been a big contribution to the Mets' recent hot streak. He's got power and speed upside. He's already in double-digit steals this season. He's especially great in categories if you need average and hits with steals upside. Now, you guys know I love chopping it up in the comments with you, whether you have questions, whether you're just chiming in on a player I mentioned, or just sharing your thoughts for the week. But Chris Walters 6203 mentioned this player last week's episode, and so he actually did make the list this week, and that's Kyle Higashioka. Gotta shout this man out. Now, the starter Lewis is shelved with an injury, meaning Higgy is getting the start for the Padres. He's been on a nice streak as of late, hitting for over 285 in his last 17 games. He has big power upside from the catcher position, but expect regression to the means on the average. Probably better for points leagues, but deep leagues who are playing roto or categories should add him if you need a catcher boost. Now, the last hitter on my list today is Miguel Rojas of the Dodgers. He's getting the bulk of the playing time at shortstop for LA. He's been helping the bottom of the Dodgers lineup be more productive, and this is just an offense that you want any piece of. Game time, guys. It's time for our episode's weekly side mission. This week, I want you to drop in the comments the name of the best pitcher you've had this season. It could be the name of a pitcher that you picked up off of waivers. It could be one that you drafted to start the season. I don't care when you got him. I just want you to share who has been your best pitcher on the season. Drop them in the comments. Let's show some love to the pitchers who have carried us to this point of the fantasy baseball season. As always, I love to shout out some people in the comments, whether you're just asking a question, talking baseball in general, or if you did what I asked you to, which was mention some of the players that you're picking up or looking at on waivers. So shout out to Football Mania 3000. He said he's looking at Davis Daniels. That's a guy that he's taking a chance on. Again, shout out Chris Walters for his recommendation on Kyle. Shout out to High Reach Jack Stone for mentioning that we nailed Taj Bradley last week. I really appreciate that. People are quick to say what you did wrong, but I always love those who do come through, show a little love, and mention the hits that we got. Just thank you to everybody in the comments for all the love. P Hall was in there. There was a few other people, a few of you come through each week showing love. Pistol RX also. So yeah, again, just a bunch of you guys. Frozen rope too. Just a shout out to you guys really quick. Now let's go ahead and get back into the show. We'll talk about the 2 prospects that you need to add to your teams to win big in fantasy this week. Now, the first one I want to talk about is James Wood. He's going to be electric. Wood was called up on Monday. He laced an opposite field single to the tune of his first career hit in the majors. Shout out to James Wood for that. If he's somehow still out there, grab him. The upside across the board, and he could be electric for this Nationals team. This last prospect is me just doubling back from last week. Noelvi Marte for the Reds, a position that still remains an enigma. Marte finished his 80-game suspension recently. Since being reinstated, Marte has been playing every day, though this is due partly to the injuries of Matt McClain and Christian and Carcion Strand. An everyday third baseman with the pop and speed is a rarity. Be patient, but don't leave him for someone else to grab later. Get him now. Take advantage of this. This is our second week mentioning him. Don't come tomorrow. Don't come next week and say, Neil, I missed this episode. Neil, I didn't listen. Get him now before it's too late, guys. One more question for you guys to drop in the comments. Of the 2 prospects that we talked about, which prospect would or Marte do you trust more going forward rest of season? Also, if you got to this point in the episode, I love and appreciate you more than you know. You can't really understand it. I'm trying to get it through the camera to you guys. I'm trying to get it through the screen to you guys. If you aren't subscribed already, then lock in with us. Hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribed, like I said, go ahead and hit that like button, drop a comment. I thank you guys for joining me as always. Before you go catch another one of our episodes, I enjoy continuing this conversation and discussion in the comments. So drop me a line. Peace.